I have been inundated with so much Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, brain rot think pieces, and I just need to get my thoughts out. So there are several theories as to what this means for dating culture in general, only one of which I actually agree with. The one that we brought up earlier this week is that this proposal is being seen as a rebuke of the forever boyfriend archetype. I agree with that analysis. I explained why, and we'll get to that in a second. But what I don't like is that Travis Kelce and others, including Kelsey Ballerina's boyfriend, Chase Stokes, and Lana Del Rey's husband, Jeremy Dufresne, they're being lauded as like the ultimate example and teacher for how men ought to act in relationships. They are the gold standard, and they have now set the tone. If you don't reach these standards for how you behave when dating or in marriage, you're a failure of a man. And all of the discourse is basically, why can't you be more like Travis?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, why can't you be more like Taylor? Like, you're not that person, so why would you expect the same exact dynamic? Here is a TikTok from a woman named Jordan Canova who captions it, "Fellas, take notes." Here's what she said.
Let's talk about Chase Stokes and Travis Kelce for a second, because what they're showing men is actually really cool. There's been a lot of guys who are terrified of being called a simp or being made fun of by other dudes or looking whipped, and so they try and play it cool when it comes to a relationship, and ultimately that's just made it so that we have a ton of guys that don't know how to be gentlemen anymore. But now we have these two super masculine, well-known guys that are not afraid to show that they are head over heels for their ladies. Both of them have pursued their women, both publicly and privately. They show up and support their ladies. They aren't afraid to look goofy as they're singing love songs at the top of their lungs at their concerts. They're just showing what it's like to actually show up and support and care for your lady. Now, there are tons of amazing men that are going above and beyond for their partners every single day. And I know that because I have one of them. I know a lot of really amazing stand-up guys.
He's literally outside the car right now cheering her on as she makes this TikTok.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of women that have just lost hope in the fact that there's not a lot of gentlemen out there anymore. And that's why I think it's so cool that you have all the publicity and paparazzi surrounding these two guys that are showing you that it is really cool to care about your woman. It is cool to pursue her. It is cool to care. It is cool to show up for her. It's cool to care about the things that she's interested in. I'm just really hopeful that this is gonna turn a whole lot of guys that are watching this and flip their thought process so that they can actually start treating women the way that we all deserve to be treated.
The way we all deserve to be treated, all of us. All of us, because we're all queens. We're all deserving of being treated like royalty. Okay, this is obnoxious and detached from reality. Here's the thing. Taylor Swift is a billionaire and arguably the most famous woman on the planet. She has reached an echelon of fame that is like global and historical. She will be remembered for generations. Any man that she dates or marries is likely going to be a sidekick. That's just how he's going to be seen, treated, and talked about.
Unless she married a dude who's worth more, but yeah.
Even then, she's more famous than Jeff Bezos. Like, it's just on the matter of fame. Any guy that she marries is going to be considered to be her sidekick. He's a sideshow. He's a supporting actor. That makes her exceptional and not something that you should model your relationship after. And she's basically saying Travis Kelce being such a romantic goofball, basically, you know, hanging out on the sidelines with his foam finger for Taylor, is supposed to teach men across society, across all socioeconomic strata, this is how you're supposed to behave in relationships. And by the way, that has nothing to do with being a gentleman. That's all about asking men to be cheerleaders.
Not leaders, cheerleaders.
Yeah. We want men to be leaders, but cheerleaders specifically. And then Evie Magazine published an op-ed about what these relationships, specifically Taylor Swift and Lana Del Rey's, mean for the culture, saying these two artists have shaped not just this decade, but the one before it as well. It's officially over for men who have tried to run from traditional masculinity. The op-ed is titled, "Twinks Are Out. Here's why hunky men are back in demand. The reign of the soft boy is over. Masculine men are officially back in style." And I'm sorry, but just to say nothing of Travis Kelce, Jeremy Dufresne is not what any Gen Z woman thinks of as a hunky guy. Just that on its surface.
So is your critique of that
insane.
That's the perspective coming from millennials, like a
Perhaps,
millennial woman?
Perhaps. So in this opinion piece, they are talking about the reign of people like Harry Styles and Jacob Elordi, the baby girl energy trend, where women were finding this soft boy aesthetic appealing. And now that they see these examples that are getting so much publicity of women who are with more traditionally masculine men, their tastes are going to change. Even if that argument is true and that there is a greater demand for masculine men, a greater demand does not equal a greater supply.
Okay.
A greater demand for masculine men doesn't make a greater supply of masculine men.
There's a 20 there.
From Corey Anderson, in response to the Travis Kelce video, the majority of women don't know how to be ladies. Anecdotally, the women are the ones that make being chivalrous an unappreciated chore. I can't stand women that run from accountability. I don't even know if it's just that, or is that they feel like they're the star of a show and a man has to be the side character in their TV show.
To say nothing of like all of this discussion, because I don't really know what I think about it, other than like nothing about what they're describing about them is about their inherent masculinity. It's about their jobs are what they're saying qualify them as masculine. They're not talking about masculine traits. They're talking about men that happen to have, work in fields like alligator wrangler or professional football player that are inherently masculine. It's got nothing to do with leading as a man by example, protecting your family. They're not talking about things that would be considered traditionally masculine in a relationship. They're saying be the cheerleader that the soft boy likely would have been, but do so while also being, tall and ripped and in a sport.
I don't know if it's that, because she's mentioning Chase Stokes as well, who is an actor.
Okay.
So it's not even just about like what his job is. They seem to think that men should take the back seat in a woman's life and essentially just be there to support, just, wave around their pom-poms and jump up and down.
There was her video is ripe for satire. Like, you should make videos where like your girlfriend or your wife goes to like work at a perfectly normal job and you show up with a foam finger and start cheering her on.
Also,
I would love that.
If anything, what that woman in the TikTok is complaining about is men who go out of their way to put on a more macho persona. She's telling them to do away with that. So how is that a demand for more masculinity?
I don't know.
She's saying they need to be romantic, softy goofballs. How does that relate to masculinity? I'm so confused. They also mentioned that Taylor Swift appreciated that Travis Kelce was so forward in his pursuit of her, like, with the friendship bracelet with his phone number on it. This says Taylor Swift wished a guy would do something crazy to get her attention. Then she met Travis Kelce. Again, that has nothing to do with his masculinity. That I just am I talking crazy? Like, am I taking crazy pills right now? I think that they're collapsing like 5 different narratives about what men should do that are all contradictory, and men are left thinking like, okay, what am I supposed to do here?
I guess to me the first thing that stuck out was like she's talking about like men putting on good examples of how to treat the women in their lives, but like most people don't live public facing lives, and even celebrities don't necessarily live their lives always out in public. Taylor Swift is an example of that's stupid fly. Taylor Swift is an example of a celebrity where the romantic side of her existence is kind of front and center, and has been in a very voyeuristic way for the length of this relationship. But just because most men in the world are not living a life where they're showing their love out in front of the world does not mean it's not happening.
Yeah.
And if the women are saying in these, the women, I guess the women in this lady's audience are saying that that's not happening to them, it's kind of like we were going to talk about the video of the mime that was catching the dudes not carrying the bags for their women. Remember that? Like he's like stops the men who are like freeloading off their wives who are carrying like a baby in 3 bags. And you get like 5 examples, and that seems like a lot. But guess what? That means that there was it was at like SeaWorld or something crazy like that. I don't know where it was. That means that there was likely hundreds of other examples of men who were carrying around tons of bags for their wife and kids. And I don't think that the argument is all that coherent there for her. And I think for men to be supportive of the women in their life is extremely important. But that doesn't mean that you become some clownish cheerleader who makes... Are you wanting them to make content out of it? Like, is the guy supposed to go to your office job and, like, every time you type a letter into Microsoft Excel, he does it like YMCA behind you? Like, I don't know what you're asking for there. I could just be misinterpreting. Again, I don't watch this lady's content, so I don't know. But I don't think that it means that there's a lack of existence of men who are supportive of their women. It's just that the gender wars have dictated that the stuff that gets people's attention is the stuff that critiques it, not the stuff that actually does it well. The only time the stuff that's done well is front and center is stuff like this, meaning like large scale celebrities. So it had to be the most famous woman on planet Earth who's dating a professional football player for it to show what they consider the positive side of these things. Otherwise, it doesn't sell. Otherwise, only the negativity sells.
They're also completely ignoring the fact that Taylor and Travis are both PR-oriented people, and they are both equally invested in the performance that they're collaborating on, essentially, as a business venture. The timing of the engagement coming right before she does an album rollout and before the football season starts.
13th
Do you
boyfriend.
think that they didn't put thought into that?
Yeah.
Like... It's just basically interacting with celebrity news the way that a toddler interacts with Cocomelon videos.
Yeah.
You really think that it's what it appears to be? The only part of these theories that I thought actually made any sense was the forever boyfriend argument, because there is nothing relatable about Taylor Swift's life other than her previous relationship in which she was dating Joe Alwyn. The guy basically strung her along for like the better half of a decade. She said in certain ways in her song lyrics that he wasted her time and didn't commit to her. And that is something that a lot of her fans actually can relate to. Hence the memes like this one that you sent me, all the guys in 3+ year relationships watching Travis propose to Taylor. Mm-hmm. That's like going to put the pressure on. Like maybe women are going to see that and think, okay, I need to have a relationship that's oriented toward commitment as well.
Also, like, let's face it. I'm sorry to be picking on this TikTok lady again. She's like, Taylor Swift is Travis Kelce is setting a good example for men. No masculine man is watching this aspect of her life. The masculine men that care about Travis Kelce care about whether their fantasy football league is going to do well or not. They don't care about this side of it. Likely they find it resentful because it's a hoopla that takes away from the stuff that they actually do enjoy. There are no men getting life lessons from something like this. I do think that celebrities getting married and settling down is a good thing. I don't really care to think about them as role models, because I think that if you're looking for celebrities to be role models, you're setting yourself up for failure anyways. So it's not really about that. But the men that she thinks that this is going to reach, it is not going to reach.
And by the way, like, Travis Kelce is one of those nonchalant men who displayed the same exact behavior in his previous relationship. He was dating, I believe, a sportscaster named Kayla Nicole previously, before he was with Taylor. They dated for over 5 years, and he never put a ring on it. He was a forever boyfriend. He didn't, you know, he wasn't the guy that he is now. So how is he supposed to be some kind of like model for that all men should follow?
Yeah.
It's
well,
very.
I mean, you can change your behavior. The whole meme about that is like he'll date someone for 5 years and then the next girl he'll meet and he'll marry her in 10 months because of
taxi cab theory.
Yeah.
It's not the right person, it's the right time. But the tone of that TikTok and so many of these other takes is scolding, it's shaming, it's school marming.
And it's telling you that your role, like you to do your best as a man, is to cheer on your queen.
Right.
Which is something. Look, when a guy says
cheer on your queen.
When a guy has that type of tone with a girl that he loves, that's one thing. That's a dynamic that they formed between the two of them. And theoretically, it's because he honestly feels that way. But when he's instructed to do so by a woman, it's always going to come off as preachy and self-interested and a little bit self-obsessed.
This is just super feminist.
Yes.
Like, I think that a lot of these takes, even from people who purport not to be feminists, are quite feminist. Am I onto something here?
Did she claim that she wasn't? I mean,
no. This woman, I don't know about this woman in the TikTok, but a lot of the women, basically, like ostensibly on the right, who are griping about how men aren't masculine enough these days, have the same exact point of view. Travis Kelce is not masculine. He's a bumbling oaf, or at least that's what he wants people to think of him. And that is part of the performance.
Depends. I mean, that's going to depend on whether you have a traditional view of masculinity, being that he engages in a sport that is inherently physical and violent every single day for work.
Look, having muscles and having CTE is not masculine. It doesn't make you a manly man.
I mean, but the thing is, like, you're gonna have to, like, you're hitting a wall there where you're gonna have to get into a debate with the people who disagree with you there.
Because he presents himself to be a simpleton who basically just goes along with whatever Taylor says.
And they're not talking about the traits of, and I kind of agree with the part you said about how you've sectored off a bunch of arguments, because the same magazines would write separate articles about what they believe masculinity is, which would be, you have to be strong and willing to lead your family. You have to be willing to protect them at all costs. You have a role you have to be stoic. You have all of these traits that people, at least people on the right, kind of put into the idea of what they believe to be traditional masculinity. Not a bad thing, just their interpretation of it. Yeah. Fine. I would agree with it. But that's not what they're talking about.
They're talking about an ushy-gushy, like, yeah, slay queen, like basically a husband who acts like your gay best friend.
Yeah.
And no woman actually wants that.
Yeah.
They can say that they want that, and that's clearly what the TikToker was encouraging men to be, but they don't know what they want, and it's just a very misleading message, and it betrays a lot of narcissism.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media, and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.